Okay, today we're going to be taking a look at this Pelsee dash cam here. This is a 4K, it's new, P3 by Pelsee. Now this is a relatively inexpensive dash cam, but I'm going to tell you this, out of the dash cams we're testing, the worst dash cam so far is the Flagship expensive Thinkware U3000 4K dash cam. So we're most disappointed in the expensive Thinkware dash cam made in Korea. So that can mean a good value for you in the real world, because this Pelsee P3 is going to be a lot cheaper. So let's go ahead and unbox this, and then we'll get it on a car and get it tested. Now this is brand new and it's made in China, whereas the Thinkware U3000 is made in Korea. But as I stated, just because you pay more, at least when it comes to these dash cams these days, doesn't necessarily mean that it's a better value. So that's why we're checking out this Pelsee today, because we've experienced with testing all these different dash cams from different manufacturers that there is a value proposition. Accessories dash cam, very nicely packaged. There is a value proposition between these various manufacturers of dash cams these days, and it does not coincide with price always. So let's get the camera open first and see what's inside, and again later we're going to actually get this thing tested and show you the video. Let's see. So it's well packaged. Alright, so you get a standard sticky mount here, as we can see, and it looks really good. 4K, GPS, it's all standard stuff, right? Let's look at the back. Now this is a screen, so if we peel this off, we're going to reveal the screen there. So it's not, I mean, it is a big screen. Let's see, roughly measuring 2.5 inches. So it looks good. It feels good. A little bit lightweight, but that's good. It doesn't need to be heavy. All right, a little hard to get this sticker off to see the lens, but, and I don't know what kind of sensor it is. It doesn't brag about the sensor. In other words, it doesn't boast like a Sony Starvis 2 or anything like that. Okay, that's a little bit obnoxious there. Just make the tab a little bigger to make this not an issue. Alright, so it's not bragging about what type of lens that is, but you know and I know that these are all Sony sensors inside, give or take. But that's a guess. It's not saying it's a Sony sensor, we just know that's who's supplying all these dash cam manufacturers with sensors these days. So anyway, we got some buttons on the bottom, and it looks good. Everything looks good. This swivels and adjusts, and then we've got USB-C and audio video out, presumably for a rear cam. Alright, let's take a look now at these accessories. Standard installation stuff. Wire management, pry tools, instructions. Oh, we get an SD card. That's nice. So what do we get? 64 gig card. So you get a nice SD card there. That's nice of them to include that. I think this clear is for temporary mount, which is what we're going to end up doing, I think. Yeah, this is all standard stuff, right? So let's not bore you with that. Get some more stickies. You get everything you need. That's the bottom line here. So let's see what else here. Oh, it does come with a rear cam. Wow, imagine that. I think, yeah, this is supposed to be the rear cam. Looks, it doesn't have the IR light, so it can't be a front-facing cam. Or excuse me, an interior cam. It's a rear-facing cam. Alright, so standard rear cam has like a ratcheting action to it. Okay, long wire to reach the back of the vehicle, and I'm presuming this is the power source, which is a USB-C hooked up to a power adapter, and it does give you the USB-C kind of piggyback or whatever you want to call it on the end, so you don't lose your USB port, that thing there, your USB-A. Looks to be standard stuff. So let's get it installed and let's see what it's all about. Alright, let's do a quick bench test before we even get this thing on the car. And the purpose of this test is to see if the camera even works, since it takes a USB-C. Plugged in the wall power. Oops, got it upside down. So Pelsee comes on. Alright, so came on pretty quick. So that's a good sign. And I'm checking the color and everything on this thing. Actually surprised how quick that came on. It's pretty good. Alright, but it works, but I'm going to check the color just to make sure everything works. Our Thinkware gave off weird color. You know, it's too green or blue. Something's wrong with the sensor. So before we stick this and glue this in the car, I just want to make sure the color looks good. But it looks good. So that color is pretty accurate. I know it's hard to tell, but the color looks good. So, yeah, let's run with it. Let's get it in the car. Okay, here we are in the vehicle, and this is what the Pelsee camera looks like. So you're looking at it, and the inset is the Thinkware U3000 4K Flagship, and that's an expensive dash cam. So I'm going to cut right to the chase here and say that we haven't been impressed with the Thinkware for the price you pay. So look at this image that you're seeing as we go through the Mojave Desert here and compare it, because this Pelsee 4K dash cam is presumably going to be a lot cheaper than the Thinkware, and that's what this is all going to come down to, is the value. Thinkware is a reputable brand, but again, they sent us their flagship 4K dash cam, and right out of the box it had a sensor issue. The image was green. Then they sent us another one and the sensor was fine, but the thing is shaky. So if you look at the Thinkware image, it's a lot of shaking going on. And we've actually got 3 dash cams going in the car right now. We've got a VFO 8229 Plus, so that doesn't shake and the color's good. But the Thinkware shakes. So hopefully this Pelsee dash cam won't have a shaky image, and it'll have a nice high quality image that is comparable to the Thinkware. But I wouldn't be surprised quite honestly, if the image you're seeing is actually better in this Pelsee. Now, why is that? I don't know. That's just what it is. This dash cam game is getting competitive. It's getting serious. There's no longer there's no longer just whatever it was, Thinkware and Blackview used to be the other good one, the two Korean brands. These Chinese manufacturers are stepping up their game. I know that's all cliche to say the Chinese are getting better at things, but so far, again, we're most impressed with some of these Chinese dash cams. So we got a pretty day here. So this Pelsee's supposed to be 4K. Look at the clouds, look at the colors. The road should look a nice desert tan. Got a perfectly light blue sky, and we got olive green bushes, and that's what we should be seeing. Now, I don't know if these cams are supposed to have EIS or what. That's electronic stabilization, or electronic image stabilization, I should say. I don't know if they're supposed to have that standard and they just don't mention it, but the Thinkware has a ridiculous amount of shaking compared to other dash cams. So hopefully the Pelsee image is nice and clear and stable for you. You got some smoke coming up this off this truck. Not smoke, but sand, dust cloud, whatever you want to call it. And we're going to turn around here in a moment. But before we turn around, there's going to be $1 million question when it comes to these dash cams, and that is, outside of the image quality, how long is the thing actually going to last? So let's say you're pleased with the way this Pelsee looks. What other considerations are there? And that's going to be the reliability. Now, Thinkware, Blackview, etc. has been around. The Korean brands have been around longer, so they might theoretically be more reliable, and that's very fair to say that. Sorry, we got a slow-moving vehicle. We're going to turn around right ahead here, and we're not going to see this vehicle anymore, so just bear with us for a second. But if the Thinkware U3000 puts out a crappy, shaky image right out of the box, or their quality control is so low that they give you a cam that, with a Sony Starvis 2 sensor that has a green image right out of the box, that's just no good. I didn't pay cash for these cams, obviously. They're just sent for testing, but if I had paid cash for the Thinkware, I would be getting my money back. I'd be asking for a refund. It's just not worth it for what you get. All right, so we're turning around here, and we'll get a clearer image without that truck in front of me. So I'm rambling, I know, but I'm trying to say things are changing, and these Chinese cams may prove to be equally reliable as the Korean-made dash cams. Most of them all use Sony sensors. I have no idea what Pelsee is using for a sensor here. They don't advertise, or at least this camera's so new, I don't even think it's out yet. There's no price point on it. So they're not really saying yet what kind of sensor it has in it. Perhaps a Sony Starvis 2, because they all use that for 4K, but I don't know. Does any of that even matter? No. What matters is what you're seeing. Do you like the image compared to the ThinkView in this Pelsee P3, or do you not like it? If you like it, then that's all you need to know, because what you see is what you get. It's all 4K. It's all going to be able to capture license plates to some degree of reason. So it's coming down to just who's doing it right. And I know that sounds kind of lame and maybe boring, but to say, just pick the camera with the best image quality, but that's where we're at today.
And you know, there's other nitpicky factors that I'm not going to get into. We're not going to talk about how to, you know, every little gimmicky feature on this, such as lane assist and, you know, lane keeping and lane deviation sensors and all that nonsense. You know, everybody agrees. Everybody agrees that those are gimmicks. So, you know, on this channel, we just focus on: do you like the way it look? Do you like the way it looks? And are there any major problems, or are there any squirrely problems that you should know about? Now, I'm not seeing the image. I won't see this until we get back, but you know, we're on a bumpy road, obviously. So when we tested the Thinkware before, it shook all over the place, and it shouldn't shake all over the place. So hopefully the Pelsee is not picking that up. Now, what else about the Pelsee dash cam? That's it. It's just, they're all the same. It's a dash cam. You know, I really don't want to bore you with all the gimmicks of what it can do. You know, this whistle and that bell. It's meant to do what we're doing right here, which is show you what's happening in the real world. And it's meant to last. Meaning these cams have to live a tough life anywhere, but especially out here in the desert. They're going to bake in the sun. We're in the Mojave Desert, so they have to last. Now, what cam is going to survive? Who knows? You know, it's the jury's still out. There's only anecdotal evidence online on what lasts, what doesn't last. Therefore, we have to presume they're all, as far as reliability goes, probably in the same camp, right? Give or take. So therefore, you have to balance the price. What are you willing to pay right now versus what you risk down the road with a potential reliability issue? The Thinkware could be more reliable than the Pelsee. However, it's close to $600 and the image is crap. It's shaky and the color's off. You know, so definitely not worth it in my opinion. And this Pelsee camera might be the sweet spot for you because it's going to have a much lower cost. And again, I haven't seen the image yet because I'm in the car with you, but I'm willing to bet, just from taking a peek through the 2.5-inch monitor over there on the Pelsee, that the image quality is going to be just as good as the Thinkware, if not better, which is saying a lot when you're probably going to be paying half as much. So what's the bottom line here? Is this a good camera? Yes, it is. The Pelsee here is going to be your best value 4K camera. It gets the same quality as this much more expensive $600 Thinkware U3000. In fact, I say this is better quality. It's definitely a better value. This thing is not worth it. It's not worth $600. And this VFO is a 2K camera, and that's a best value 2K camera. I would call this Pelsee a best value 4K camera. And as far as overall value for 4K, I would say something like the Vantrue N4 Pro, which we're also testing. However, that's much more expensive than this Pelsee right here. So what does it come down to? What is the bottom line here? None of these cameras, these three and the fourth one in another car that we're testing, none of them are perfect. Okay, this VFO has less shakiness. You might notice that these two cameras that you saw today have a little bit of shaking. That's because they don't have EIS. This VFO has EIS, electronic image stabilization. It stabilizes that shaking. However, it's at the expense of the image drifting. In other words, this VFO speeds up the image, and that's annoying for some, people like us who use these to shoot videos with. Will that affect you? Who knows? The point is, they're not perfect. None of them are perfectly perfect. So what you got to decide is, What's your budget? What's the best value? As far as I'm concerned, this thing is a great value as far as a 4K cam, especially when you put it next to this expensive thing right here that is not impressive at all. This is your better value.